There was a point where I was just like, oh, interesting, you're going there. No, it's not that.
No, there is no way they can get around doing what they need to do if they go about the same way that all the other cops go about doing it.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the sequel. I'm actually very excited for the sequel. Welcome back to another episode of Reel Chums, where chatting about movies feels like hanging out with friends. I'm your host, Marcel, and with me as always is my co-host, Danny.
This week we're diving into Den of Thieves, directed and written by Christian Gugas, starring Gerard Butler, Pablo Schreiber, O'Shea Jackson Jr., and 50 Cent.
In this episode, we discuss the characters, the intricate heist planning, and why we both like and dislike this movie. But before we roll that intro, make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode.
Don't forget to follow us on YouTube at Reel Chums and our all other socials to join in on the conversation. With that being said,
let's roll that intro.
All right, man, we're back.
We are back.
Another episode. Another movie conversation. I'm really excited to get into this movie. But of course, like always, we're going to start with the question of the day.
Question of the day. You have one.
I have one.
Go.
Big Nick we're back in the office of the LA County Sheriff's Department. And Big Nick has just finished eating some kind of food from Carl's Jr. And he needs some Pepto because this man is old. What burger do you think he just freaking pounded?
That's a good one. From Carl's Jr. This episode is brought to you by Carl's Jr. No, it's not. But
Carl's Jr., if you're listening.
If you're listening, hit us up.
Hit us up. We have Carl's Jr. right down there. We will get Carl's Jr. and have a burger every single day.
I think you would be eating the guacamole burger because it's so messy. Okay. And he seems like the guy that would just make a mess. It would drop on his shirt, and he would just, with his big old finger, just go and like lick his fingers. Just sloppiness.
Oh man,
it's just that's what he's eating.
I also had the guacamole, but it was the guacamole $6 burger before they got rid of it because this movie came out when the $6 burger was still alive and well.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember the $6? The $6 burger was the burger.
I think I vaguely remember this. Yeah.
Dude, it was like it was like a half a pound of meat or something like that. It was like some ridiculous, it was a huge patty, and they had a one with bacon, they had one with guac, and they had one. I think there was they had like a Western one.
How much are they now?
They don't have them anymore. They just have a burger. They just have burgers now, okay. And they're just like regular patties, and they suck.
Tell us how you feel, Danny.
I'm going to tell you, Carl's Jr.,
you just wanted them to sponsor this, and now you're telling them that they suck. Great, we lost that sponsorship.
Listen, I'm here to try to sell the $6 burger again, okay? Those burgers were glorious. It was when they were doing all the ridiculous ads, which I love. It's just so ridiculous. Anyways, 100% though, guacamole burger is what he just finished up, and he just needed. He thought he could handle just a little bit of spice, and now he just can't.
I feel like he would handle the spice. I think he thinks that he could get away with not spilling anything.
He needed Pepto.
Yeah, that's true. He would need a Pepto. Yeah.
He specific. He's like, oh,
give me that Pepto.
Give me that Pepto. And plus, also, I wasn't gonna say he spilled on his shirt. I was gonna say he had it all over his beard, his flavor saver.
Yeah. No, but he would definitely 100% spill all over his shirt.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Freaking Big Nick.
Freaking Big Nick. Lick, guys. I have enjoyed this movie since I watched it in whatever. So I want to talk regularly. What's your relationship with this movie?
Let's jump into it. Yeah. Look, quick synopsis. The story follows two opposing groups in LA, a relentless elite unit of the LASD led by Big Nick, and a highly skilled crew of bank robbers planning their biggest heist on the Federal Reserve Bank. My relationship with this movie, dude, I had no idea it existed.
Which, you did not. If you didn't watch our Den of Thieves trailer, you would have found that out. But if you hadn't, go check it out and come back.
We did the, like you said, Den of Thieves trailer, Den of Thieves 2 Pantera trailer, and I was like, what is this movie?
Yeah.
There's a second to this? Where was the first?
I didn't even know it was happening.
And then we've been talking about it. The movie just came out, and then we decided to do this episode. I watched the trailer right before watching it, and I was like, oh, yeah. I remember this. I remember this trailer, and I just remember just being put off by Gerard Butler. I have feelings
Yes.
about
Gerard
Mr. Butler. I've shared some of them. We've done 2 Butler movies, have we?
We did Ugly Truth. What else have we done?
P.S. I Love You.
And we haven't done P.S. I Love You yet.
Yeah, we did. We watched it last year
I do not remember.
for our month of romance comedies.
We did. You're right.
And you still love it. I'm still like, meh.
I love that movie. It's so great. It was not as good as when I first
As you remember it,
enjoyed it,
yeah.
but I still enjoyed it.
But yeah, so I just barely watched this. This is my first viewing. I'm excited to talk about this.
Dude, I'm excited to just sit back here and hear all the hate you have for this movie.
Do I have hate? We'll see.
Oh, I think you have. You literally texted me. This is just a remake of Heat.
I want to take back what I said. I did text you and I said this is a rip off.
Yeah.
Of
you
Heat,
did. Yeah, and I
right?
just laughed. And so in fact, I watched Heat as well.
So did I. Yeah. So did
because
I'm like, I'm now in the mood for Heat.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
So we have a lot to talk about. My relationship with the movie, I don't remember when I first watched it. I think I'm pretty positive that I did not watch this movie in theaters. I'm pretty positive that I watched this, like, I was just like looking for a movie and I'm like, Den of Thieves, what is this? It like came on Netflix or something and so I threw it on. And hands down, fun win for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you saw this on Netflix?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm pretty positive.
Yeah. How many times do you think you've seen this?
5 times.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, I've seen it 5 times. This is probably my 6th time, I think, actually now. So 6 times.
Dang. Okay.
For this win. So a lot to say, and I'm really excited to get into this. And I'm really excited to talk about Heat as well because we're going to talk about it, even though we didn't schedule to talk.
Yeah.
It's definitely a lot of it there. Okay, I want to start with, you think that this is a cop and robber movie?
A cop and robber movie.
Yeah. Well, okay. I guess the question is, what is this movie?
Let me tell you what I really like about this movie. I love that this movie was, like, through the trailer and through its marketing, it's clearly sold to you as a heist movie, and it is. But it's very much a crime movie.
Yeah.
And a heist movie, and I really like. Look, we did a whole month of heist movies. Go check that out. But the movies that we did that month are very much heist movies.
100% heist movies. The classic tropes of, you got your team, you got your specialists, we're looking at, we have the what are we going to do, and then the breakdown, and then is it actually going to happen? You know, the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah. Whereas this really leans into like the crime aspect of a movie. It actually reminded me a lot when we did our episode on Knives Out. Something I said in that movie was, I love that Knives Out is a whodunit. Then it just flips the genre on us 20 minutes into the movie into a mystery.
Yes.
Into a crime mystery movie.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right? And this movie kind of does that. It plays between the two genres. It's a crime movie, or it starts out as a heist, but then it becomes very much a crime drama, and then we finish with a great heist. I really, really like that play of genres in the movie, and something that I just wasn't expecting. I definitely felt this was just going to be a pure heist movie.
And it's funny because I remember in the trailer reaction for Pantera 2 that I was like, oh no, it's about like bad cops, but it's not. It's because the crime portion does take over the majority. Like, it is strong, and the heist portion isn't as like, it's memorable, but you kind of forget about it because it's so towards the end. It's like the reveal is such a great reveal of what you get. And I like when I was reviewing it, and I was like, oh man, it's just the genre flip is what gets me every single time, and that's why I really enjoyed this movie. And in what I've seen is that Pantera is more of a heist, and it's less action. Which I don't know how I feel yet about it. I think I'm excited to watch it. I'm probably not going to get to theaters to see it. I will probably end up renting it or end up just buying it as like a duo combo, Den of Thieves and Pantera. Because they're going to do it.
Yeah. We'll talk about this a little bit towards the end of the podcast of the episode, but I'm really excited for the sequel.
Oh,
Like
oh.
I'm actually like very excited for this.
I actually, okay, I'm shook. I was 100% gonna be like, dude, he's gonna rip us a new one.
Oh, that doesn't mean I'm not going to rip a new one on this, dude. I am ready.
Okay. Well, okay. What else? Anything else you liked about this?
I really like the shootouts. The last shootout, I thought it was choreographed really well. The tension was awesome. I really enjoyed. I like the character. Let's not say I don't like the. I like the characters. They're fine. We'll talk more about that. But I love O'Shea Jackson.
O'Shea Jackson. I want more of O'Shea.
Donnie is a very unique character, and that's one of the reasons why I'm really excited for the sequel.
Yeah.
Because now we're gonna really focus on Donnie.
Yeah.
Look, I'll just tell why I'm excited for the sequel. It won't have this shadow of this is just Heat.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It has the opportunity for this movie to be its own thing.
Yeah.
Okay. To finally stop being compared to Heat. For it to really take this unique character of Donnie and just give him he's the mastermind, right?
Right.
Like, show me now how amazing he is instead of just like a quick 30-second collage at the end of what happened, right?
Yeah.
So I'm really excited because now you have the opportunity to just really solidify this story, these characters in this franchise, in this sequel.
Yeah.
And from that perspective, that's what has me really excited to see this. It's a big undertaking for the director and writer to do so. He could either screw this up really badly, or really have a success with the sequel. So I'm really excited for it. But I love Donnie, the character of Donnie. I thought he was great.
That's the biggest thing. My biggest. I'm really excited for it too. The only maybe small gripe I have is the LA, the locally vibe that we get so much in this first one. But honestly, at least to some of the information, Cushing Gudgast, is that how you pronounce his name?
Gudast,
Gudast,
I think.
He's writer director.
Yep.
For both.
Gudgast. Yep.
And he's got like a bigger franchise planned. Like it's like he's looking at they're looking at this as a bigger thing. Almost they want it to be like a Fast and Furious.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Or like that sort of okay, they're bringing in their crew and they're kind of they're trying to do their thing.
Yeah.
And so I'm a little hesitant with that aspect of some things, but at the same time, O'Shea, I feel strong about and the fact that they're going a little bit more they're going international on this. It's a bigger heist, a bigger thing that they're going to do. So I don't know. I'm excited to go watch that and to kind of get a sense of what happens.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know. It could look. I've always said this on the pod. I love a big cast, even if it's not super interwoven, but you got a lot of characters happening. You have a lot of personality from different individuals that portray in the film that this film does.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I want to start. This gets so much. I like that you said that you're excited for Pantera because it might get rid of the heat overshadow because it opens up with a heist that is it's an homage, a love letter to Heat.
And I wanna take back what I texted you that this is a ripoff of Heat.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's very much a nod to Heat. It's tipping its hat to that movie.
Yeah.
It's very much influenced and homaging Heat.
Yeah.
Fast and the Furious, the first one. I'm just going to quickly come back to the Fast and the Furious.
Okay.
The Fast and the Furious, the first movie, is very much a ripoff of Point Break. Okay.
I would don't disagree.
Okay. That is just, I've always said it. I will always say it. It's very much a ripoff of Point Break. Okay. but this is not a ripoff of Heat. Like this is very much homaging, tipping its hat, giving its nod to it. And there's a lot. It tries to incorporate a lot of like the drama from like the characters, their family relationships. I think it fails very miserably here
for
Den of Thieves.
Yes, I don't disagree. Yeah, go ahead.
The heist at the beginning, the shootout at the end, whereas in heist it's like at the end of like the second act, beginning of the first act. It's very interesting how it's structured there. You have the face off between the cop and the thief. That moment that it builds up. So it's very much not again. I don't want to say it's a ripoff, but it's very much an homage and nodding a nod to it.
I hadn't. It's been forever since I'd seen Heat.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. I'm gonna see. And I have to say, like, I can see, like, to me, this is one of those moments where, like, I think Christian had so much love for Heat, and he wrote a story that he wanted to portray. It's the same vibe, right? It's the cop and robber, whereas Den of Thieves portray it. It doesn't do the best, like you said, like in some of the familiar relationship. But I think part of that is because you need something to help. Just to in between. If you're not going to showcase the heist, you need to add something else.
Yeah.
Is it the grace? No. Could have been done better. Absolutely. I think Big Nick. I think Butler. We're going to talk about Butler here in this. The overall feel was there. Rewatching Heat, they're both pretty long movies. They're over 2 hours.
He is almost 3 hours.
Almost 3 hours,
it's like
right.
2 hours and 50
Yeah.
minutes. This is 2 hours and 40 or 2 hours and 30, something like that.
Yeah. So I have to tell you, it was so hard to get through Heat.
See, for me, it was the opposite.
You felt like Den of Thieves was so hard to get through.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because I had seen it so many times. I'm like, I remember the breakdown, but it'd been such a minute since I'd seen Heat. And I mean, don't get me wrong. There are so many iconic scenes in Heat.
Yeah.
Like, the shootouts. The shootouts are crazy. The end, like all of it is so phenomenal. I felt that what Heat does is not Heat is not about a robbery. It's about individuals' ideologies and the character study of different people in those ideologies.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Right. So like, there's action and it's like phenomenal, but at the end of the day, this is more of a character drama piece, and it is 100% the like pinnacle of that entire movie.
Yeah.
Is the conversation with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. Literally legend moment.
I love how this movie tries to incorporate Talk to me about the Benihana scene. Do you like that scene?
No, absolutely not.
You don't like it? Okay. I thought you would.
No
All right.
way. Listen, okay, here's the thing with the Den of Thieves. I feel like, I don't know what Butler, this is the most, like there's these like characters for actors that you just like, they don't care. They just like, this is they're like, you know what? I'm just going to play a amplified version of myself.
Okay, yes. Okay, yeah, I have a soft tone.
Okay, I feel like this is 100% Butler's
I wouldn't be surprised if Butler did show up drunk and like hungover on set and like was just like, yeah, give me the script. Okay, here are the lines. Yeah, I'll just go into it.
Maybe he was dealing with his own freaking marriage issues at this point, and he's just like, what? Or he just got so in character that he just like whatever.
I will say this as well. Oh, go no. This is here. This is a once in a lifetime thing. Okay, I'm about to do. Listeners, viewers, look at me.
What's happening right now?
I think I've been too hard on Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Oh, guys, yeah. Hold on. I'm gonna hold on. I need to clip this, Danny. Clip the editor Rubio.
I've been too hard on Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson for the last several years, saying that he continues to play the same character over and over again. You're not challenging. Like, you need a where is your true
and do you feel like
love for cinema, right?
Do you feel like Butler took over that mantle?
Yeah. I just, and I talked about this a little bit. Like I feel like Gerard Butler has not had that role to make him the mega star that he was clearly lined up to be. I feel like
I don't disagree.
In the mid 2000s,
Yes.
to like the early 2010s, like he was trying out a lot of things, and I've said this, like I think he made a lot of bad decisions on what roles he took on. Okay. I almost felt like he was supposed to be the next Russell Crowe.
Oh, okay. I think I saw that too. I remember this feeling as well. Very much like, oh, he's gonna be the next Russell Crowe. He's gonna take on this like semi-dramatic or not like action / like dreamboat kind of style,
but yet has the acting chops to give us something like a Beautiful Mind or a Gladiator. We never got that from Gerard Butler.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, he can, but like,
I don't know, Law-Abiding Citizen.
It's been forever.
I would say that we get like, it's not quite, I mean, there, but like, I think Law-Abiding Citizen is probably one of some of his best.
But what I'm saying is that this character, Big Nick, is basically the character from The Ugly Truth. If he went to become a cop. Okay?
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
He's sleazy. He is arrogant.
Yeah.
He's a dick.
I feel like he is the character from that movie, but without the refinement of Captain Hegel.
Yeah, like this is.
Or sorry, the heart that his character have, because he's got a sister
a nephew.
and a nephew,
Yeah.
and that, so he just is like alone. He ended up having a family, and he's just like he got lost in the work.
Yeah, and even like in The Ugly Truth, like he's just kind of like whatever. Like this is what would have happened to that character had he never met Hilary Swank. He would have somehow migrated to the States and just become some kind of a sleazy cop too.
That's so funny.
Like I just don't. I'm Dwayne. I'm sorry. Okay. This is the one apology you're gonna get from me, or maybe when your new wrestling movie, the one with A24, comes out later this year. Gerard Butler just he does a great job, but I wanted more out of that, and I think they tried to give him. We'll talk about Big Nick now. Like I think they tried to emulate what he does with the family relationships, right, and giving it here, but to me it falls flat. It falls flat just mainly because there's no payoff.
No, you're not. You're 100% correct.
And it makes me dislike the character even more. So, something that I really like about this movie is that I don't like anyone here.
I think here's the thing where I come from. When I'm watching this movie, you're not supposed to like anyone. You 100% are not supposed to like Big Nick.
Yeah.
You know, like he comes in to the freaking crime scene with the freaking dogs. Okay, his crew. You know, this movie reminds me. I feel like they took this concept of these cops they went in to be police officers because they wanted to do good, and then they found out that there is no way they can get around doing what they need to do if they go about the same way that all the other cops go about doing it.
Yeah.
Right. So like this, what would be really interesting would be to have some other person do a Den of Thieves remake as a TV series. Limited series, strictly just this one, okay. Right? Only because I feel like you could have a little bit extra and not make it feel so long, but you could have some interesting stuff with some of the other characters. This is the perfect example where you get like you see maybe like you get one picture from him, and then you realize the fall. Like one episode, there's like it's like
here's my pitch for it. You know, there's that little scene where Big Nick's like, these are the 5 biggest crimes LAPD has seen, right?
Yeah.
And like do a limited series of like each of those crimes.
Yep.
Do like 55 to like 70-minute episodes of each crime.
Yep.
At the end, he has the Big Nick and what's Pablo Schreiber's? Merriman kind of talk over the phone, but they never see face to face. Which would then create the build up to them meeting each other at Benihana.
100%, dude.
Yeah,
it was so good, right? It would be a really great series.
Yeah.
And there, but they just don't have the. I honestly think that they probably wanted to make it long. They probably have deleted scenes, 100%. They probably like.
There is an unrated cut.
Yes, I haven't seen that one.
I've heard it's not that good. Actually.
I'm sure. In any case, the more I've seen, like I always watched Gerald Butler. It was like after years, and it was like I'm gonna watch this thing, and like Gerald Butler,
Yeah,
and it's there. Doing this podcast, I'm just like, oh, this is legit Gerald Butler. But you know what? I don't care. I do not care. I do not care that Gerald Butler is just playing this weird like.
Could someone else have played this role? Who would have been better?
Oh, that's a good question. Who would have been better for this role? I mean, maybe Russell Crowe.
Yeah, Russell Crowe actually would have been good.
Would have been. He would have. You know, he would have been there. My thing though, is that see, this is why your pitch for the show is so good because I love the beef that Merriman and Big Nick have, even though that it's not really there. They don't have it between, but we feel it for them.
I didn't feel it though.
I think it's because I've seen it 5 times.
Maybe that's what it is. I just and maybe it's also this. Like as I'm watching this, I'm like, oh, this is like I have heat in the back of my mind constantly,
yes,
right?
I don't
and
disagree.
Heat, right? It was such a buildup, right? Decades worth of
yes
of audiences wanting Robert De Niro and Al Pacino
yes.
on screen, right?
Yeah.
And so you have that buildup, and then the movie is also building up to it. Whereas here, like there is no historical or pop culture connection between Pablo Schreiber and what's his face and Gerard Butler, right? So like, and then the story, like I and maybe I missed this, but like I think it would have been great to have had like a line that just says, yes, I think this is the crew that did those 5 heists or those previous heists. I've been trying to get them forever. They always or like just what's the personal stake here?
When there's two moments, right? When they're in the Cobb and they're talking about the heists, and then we know that they've been trailing Merriman, so they know we don't know what Merriman's been in for,
right?
So we don't know what Merriman's been in there. We also know that they weren't the ones that put him in there because they just know that like he's out
on parole,
and that they need to keep tabs on him because he's notorious for doing specific heists.
Yeah,
and so like there's just, but I also that the other side is that they have this thing where like Merriman when he goes to look at, he's like, who's this? When his one crew guy goes to do recon after the heist, and they're like, hey, so this guy who is comes into the sheriff department before the actual FBI come in, he was the guy in charge, and he's like, who's this guy? And like, oh, you remember the Samoan? Like, this is such a they're a small town heist crew, against the sheriff department with this semi like, well, this could be some bigger thing, but we don't really know. And I love the like, we don't know how big of a thing the whole heist is.
Yes.
Even though we get the numbers and we get the breakdown of like, hey, like, what if we had unmarked bills that we don't have to worry about behind our back?
Yeah.
Right? It's like slightly alluded to. And I actually, and so for me, and then having the like, Big Nick taking Donnie, the pressure for Donnie to like try there, we have this like misdirection from it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. For me, some big stuff. I will say, who I don't like the most of is 50 Cent as Levi. Even though he read the script and he was like, I'm 100% in. I want this. I want in on this.
Yeah.
But I kind of wish they'd done a little bit more with 50 Cent because he can do some pretty good.
Yeah, he can do great stuff. He's coming back he came back for the sequel as producer. He's the executive producer on this
because I think he loves this. He wants.
Yeah, and he's the one I've been reading. He's the one that's like, yeah, we're gonna make this into like the next Fast and the Furious.
I think that like they could do a slow burn. Like it. I mean, it took.
I am very surprised that this is coming out in theaters. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah,
I have a lot of thoughts.
Anyways, so for me, like I'm going to say this. Pablo Schreiber, he does not get enough love. I like him.
He's another actor that I feel like was meant to
do something more
and just hasn't he? Because he was in the Michael Bay 13 Hours,
Yes.
I think, and then he did this,
Yep.
and then just
But he played John 117
yeah, he was
in
Master
Halo.
Chief, but
Master Chief.
that friggin' tanked.
Yeah, but I just reminded me that like he's got this aura of people give him something good. Give him something good to shine because he deserves it.
Yeah,
I think Shriver, like he's got something in him that like I think we like it's almost there here. I think if this was a series, if this had been a series, he would have slayed. In my opinion, with a different Big Nick.
yeah.
No, Gerald Butler. In any case,
I want to talk a little bit about just the heist aspect of it. It works for you, yeah? The heist.
I think there are moments that don't work for me. I think some of it is the inside the Fed. There's like this watch specifically, as I was trying to be a little bit more critical about things. Some of the timing perspectives. I think part of it's like because it's not a blatant heist movie, we're not getting the like how is the actual plan supposed to like go down.
Yeah.
Right. And so some of the moments where like, hey, we know that these girls order food
from this
restaurant every single week or blah blah blah. We get that alluded to XYZ.
Yeah.
There as well as like is the bar that Donnie's bartending at, is there some like is that it's he says it's neutral ground, but like we don't like there's other things that in the perspective that like play into the overall heist that I wish we would get, but overall the execution of like the tension for the heist, the fact that like it's not as like dramatic in the sense of like spy-y or like whatever, it feels more like this is an actual heist that possibly could happen in the real world.
Yeah, no, I really like the mechanics of it, and I just love how detailed they went into. I love the setup of like, here's why, like if you stand for more than a minute, like the cameras will get you. If you come back again, security will come and grab you. And like now the feds will be asking questions. Like I love the stakes.
The stakes, yes. Right? There you go.
And just how impossible and improbable it seems like
they can be able to pull it off.
Right? Yes, I think they could have gone a little bit more into like. I would have loved to see more a little bit of like, okay, we know that, like you said, these two ladies, they order from this restaurant, so we're gonna put a plant in there, right, or whatever that may be. I do like the initial like going to the little credit union, the Pico, the Pico heist as a misdirect.
Yes.
I never at any point did I think, oh no, these guys are going to like
rob this bank,
or they're actually going to like shoot one of these hostages.
Yeah,
never was that tension was never there for me. The tension of like what are we doing here and what is the misdirect was there for me. And then obviously like actually pulling off the heist, like using the EMP. And then Donnie being inside the little cart thing.
Yeah.
That was really fun. I love, again, seeing Donnie like in action because, he's just a driver. And so like that aspect made it really fun. I do wish, though, we would have seen... I wish this movie would have just cut out all of like the family relation scenes and all that stuff. And there's the stadium heist that they do to get the original money.
Yes.
I wish we would have seen that. I really think this movie would have benefited from... We saw the beginning heist where things kind of went off and they shot up a bunch of people, right? A failure, quote unquote, for them because they didn't want to shoot anyone. And
lose somebody.
But then I think it would have been really great to like actually see them in action, pull off that heist from the stadium. And then Well, now we know they have the confidence, but then when things go south for the final heist, then we're like, oh, I don't know if they're going to be able to pull it off, even though they did the last one. I don't know. Like the stakes are higher here.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I feel like when I was looking at this script, I'm like, I actually felt like if they took out some of the family stuff and they doubled down on one side or the other, right? Whether that be the Big Nick's crew, the sheriff department, like trying to figure out whether that be like them, doing some more legwork and like that felt a little bit more policey, and getting in the FBI's way because I don't know why. I love Big Nick and the FBI guy.
The FBI guy.
Yeah. They're always at each other. But or going with Donnie and Merriman's like on that crew and developing something a little bit more. I mean, that's enough time for all because there's the 50 Cent like them scaring the dates.
Yeah.
You have
it's a fun scene, but like it does nothing.
Yeah, it does nothing. And then obviously you have Big Nick and all of his family stuff. And
I know he's a dick of a father,
correct,
and husband. Like I get that you don't need to show it, especially if there's no like payoff to it.
Yeah,
really.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and again, maybe at the end of the day, it's one of those movies like, you know what, we want something more, but maybe they just realized at the end they want this to be they wanted it to be a heist movie all along.
Yeah,
and they were just trying to find ways to like give us some sense of something. And at the end of the day, I'm with you. It was there. So, which has me really excited for Pantera because they have way more planning. There's a lot more. From what I've seen and heard, that there's they have a moment that is a little bit more like, who they are between Nick and Donnie, and because Nick has become obsessed with Donnie, and here's the thing that I think this. Sorry, I'm coming back to Butler. I think there's moments that Butler has in his films that The Rock I don't think ever has.
Okay, yeah, sure, yeah. Look, I still think obviously his performance on 300 is incredible.
Yeah.
And I am one of those people that I think he does a great job as the Phantom in Phantom of the Opera. Like I actually do like his performance on there, in that. But I just don't think he's made an effort to like. He's done way too many of those. The White House Has Fallen, London Has Fallen. Too many of those movies. Geostorm, dude. Did you watch Geostorm?
Absolutely not, bro.
Like, I'm looking at like the last 10 movies, and I have seen none of these.
Yeah, but you know what? I did see Kandahar. That was pretty good. And Plane surprisingly decent.
I've heard Plane is fine.
Yeah. I haven't seen Greenland, but I mean, like, he was in How to Train Your Dragon,
which I'm excited for him to play Stoic. Is that his name? Yeah. Mm-hmm. In live action.
I haven't seen him in Family Man. Here's the thing, like, he's come in and he's like, he did some big. You know what? The Bounty Hunter. He's actually kind of funny in The Bounty Hunter.
I didn't like that movie. I don't know why.
Look. Mediocre movies are probably my guilty pleasure. I think I decided this in this. Like, they're just like my guilty pleasure. Like, you know what? I don't care. They're mediocre. They're just, like, I just want a good laugh or a good action sequence at some point. I want a decent payoff overall, and I'm okay. I'm happy.
No, that's fine. This movie could have been just as good, if not better, if you just took out the whole like you said, like the family interactions.
Yeah.
I didn't need it, and it almost feels forced. It very much. This is where I feel like it's trying to rip off Heat, because it definitely feels like a not. I don't want to say that what's his face is an amateur writer. What's his name?
Christian.
Yeah, I don't want to say that Christian Gudigas is an amateur, but like this feels very much like, I'm gonna try to like mimic the family relationships, the interactions there create some family drama, but it just doesn't work. It doesn't pay off. It falls flat, and it, like I said earlier, what I really like about this movie is that you are meant to dislike everyone, right? You don't want to like anyone, and the movie does a good job at that. And it would have continued to do a good job if you didn't take the time to build those, quote unquote, build those family relationships.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, I don't disagree. Yeah, I don't disagree on the family relationships, but you know what? I don't fully agree with. I'm okay with not having all the payoffs. You know what? I am okay with the fact is that I'm at the end. It's almost like this was like a prologue.
I think you're giving this movie too much credit.
You know, maybe I am.
I'm worried that here's what I'm worried about the sequel.
Okay.
I'm worried that because they're talking so much about like this is gonna be like the next Fast and Furious franchise, right? I'm worried that they're going to make Big Nick an empathetic character. Either like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like I feel like a lot of the characters in the Fast movies, a lot of the villains become good guys, or there's a couple.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It's a thing, right?
Yeah.
And I'm worried. It's a very conscious decision, and that you're not meant to like Big Nick. You're not.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think in the next one they're going to be like, well, you know, he's just a troubled character. Like here's why you're going to like him. I don't think we're meant to. I don't think he was ever written for us to like him.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I know we get to know their backstories. What that fully entails on screen, I don't know, right? Because I mean, they're still beef, and they still have to accomplish some huge heist in, is it Italy?
Somewhere in Europe.
Yeah, somewhere in Europe. Yeah. You know, with diamonds, right? Like it's some, you know, a bigger thing, right? So I don't know. That's there. Is like okay. I want to touch on the heist then, or all the gun battles. The end.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they get the money, they actually leave, and then they get chased by Nick in the gang, and then they have a wild show. You know, I think halfway through this movie, I'm always like, is this? I was like, oh, this is such a weird play. It's not quite. It's not like Cops and Robbers. I always feel like this is like a weird Western, like. Nick's just like out there, the big sheriff slinging whatever, he does what he wants, and then he's after the big bank robber, and at the end they go out for a shootout, and it's just not as good. I mean, because he's paying homage for the end, but it's a fun shootout.
It's a fun shootout. I really liked it. I unlike Heat, where it's like at an intersection and like. It's coming from like all sides, right? Yes. And they have to like bunker themselves against cars, which is it's a great sequence.
Yes, it really is.
This one, it's just 2 lanes of vehicles. There are 20 vehicles ahead, and it's just trying to get to them, right?
Yeah.
I love that aspect of the hunt, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then obviously Merriman realizing like, oh man, we're screwed.
Yeah.
And just trying to figure out. I love the build up here because there was a point where 50 dies, and then what's his face, Merriman, like. I think they call it a suicide cop or a cop suicide where he pulls out the gun and then knowing that he doesn't have any bullets, right, gets shot. But there was a point where I accepted, oh, this is where we're going with this movie. Like, I don't like any of these characters, the cops nor the thieves. Everyone's just going to die, and then it's gonna end up being a retrospect for Big Nick on like my crew died as well. Like what did I lose in my crusade to catch Merriman.
Yeah.
Right. But it's not. Like, it turns out, what's his face?
Donnie rips off everybody and is off with the money.
Yeah, Donnie was behind it all. So, like, there was a point where I was just like, oh, interesting, you're going there. I love this. I love that this movie's gonna end as a retrospect for Big Nick, and more of a deeper character study. No, it's not that. No, it just throws that out the window, and then we find out that it was all just a big scam, a big con by Donnie.
Right?
And it ends with him in his British accent, mate. Oh, you walk across the street.
Oh, tell me about you.
Tell me about you.
It's on the house. And his crew hanging out with him, right?
I wish he would continue this accent.
I know.
For the sequel.
If they do decent enough on Pantera, and they can hold a better, like, they do a good job there. They maybe they rehash more of a police, like more of a action style rather than just a heist, okay. And they mix it up for a third one, and then they come back with a fourth one, bringing back, like, I don't know, somebody who actually isn't dead, right? Oh, you know what? I don't care.
No, now you're becoming a Fast and the Furious movie. How many characters have been resurrected in those movies?
Oh, actually, I don't know how many have been resurrected.
So more than one.
One. But here's the thing where I think I actually don't care so much about the resurrection. You know what I care? I just don't want them to try to go like the balls of the walls crazy with all their, like, every single movie. They're like, what are we gonna do next? It's gonna be crazy. I just want really good heists.
Yeah.
Fun. I just want at the end of the day, like, oh man, I didn't know if they were gonna pull that off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which on this one they do a really good job of that.
Yeah, it's intricate, it's detailed, it's challenging.
And then you think they do pull it off.
Yeah.
And then you realize that they didn't really pull it off, yet they still pulled it off.
Yeah, they still pull it off.
Which is, I think, to me, it's like that's my biggest thing.
Yeah.
So overall, what do you think?
I am very excited for the sequel. I'm hoping that it doesn't. And like I said, I'm excited because it won't have the shadow of Heat over it. It has the opportunity for it to be its own thing, to place its mark on it being a new franchise, a new story, a new set of characters. O'Shea Jackson's performance, I want more of that.
Yeah, me too.
I really like it. Overall, I don't know. I don't know if I'll come back to this anytime soon. I actually started watching it again, and I started skipping all the. Yeah. I think it has very iconic moments.
Yes, and that's what I think. To me, at the end of the day, like, that's why I enjoyed this movie.
Yeah,
is that there's really good moments with really moments that you just love to hate.
Yeah.
Also, love to okay, this is great. Mm-hmm. And it's okay to jump around. Like, I think this is one of those movies, like, totally fine to be there. And I hope that it gets that Christian knows more of what he wants to develop, even if they want to make it into a bigger franchise. I just hope they do it justice for themselves.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they might have to do some things that, like, they're like, okay, what can, who knows, some Fast and Furious love or homage or whatever. But I don't know. It's still up there, and who cares? I mean, like, at the end of the day, I'm rooting for a guy who's a writer director, gets to do fun freaking projects in really cool locations. I mean, this had a budget of $30 million.
This is what I'm very surprised by this movie, that it's getting a sequel. A budget of $30 million. It grossed in the States. It only grossed like 44.
Yeah.
And then worldwide it did 80 million.
Yeah. Not a ton. And as a studio, I just this is why, like, it gained momentum on, like, Netflix, yes,
and on streaming,
yeah,
right? Which is why, again, I'm the numbers to me don't justify a sequel. Which is why I think this would have. I'm surprised that it's coming to theaters, and I think it would have been better as a streaming.
But I mean, like, I don't know what the new, I mean, it's probably a bigger budget. It's probably like, what's Pantera's?
Pantera, it says it has a
40 million.
40 million.
why not throw it in theaters? Even if it makes it breaks even, and then it has a heyday again, as it like, it does like, oh, it's out on streaming. Well, I like Den of Thieves. People go watch it. Whatever. It still gets some like rerun love.
Yeah, no, it's true.
And it becomes this weird like cult, it becomes a people's like guilty pleasure heist movie.
Between Extraction and this, which one would you rather see in theaters?
Extraction.
Yeah.
Because that feels more like a blockbuster.
Yeah.
100%. But this is the thing, is that they couldn't do Extraction in theaters because they maybe like licensed. I don't know how that works actually. If an actor is big enough, like Chris Hemsworth.
No, I just don't think like
Netflix wants to do the distribution.
Netflix only wants like their award-winning movies to go to theater. That way they can qualify for Oscars. Because the Oscars, you have to have an actual theater release, even if it's only like 50 screens or like 30 screens. It has to have somewhat of a theater run for it to qualify for the Oscars.
Yeah.
So Netflix is only ever going to do that. They're never going to put like the Extractions on there.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Look, it's fun. I'm excited. I'm really excited for the sequel.
You look, honestly, I'm glad that you had a good time.
I had a good time with it. I wanted to love this more. I think that's just what it comes down to. I really wanted to love it more. And I don't want to. I hate bringing up Heat again, but 30 minutes into it, I was like,
I just want to watch Heat.
I just want to watch Heat.
I listened to somebody else doing a review of Den of Thieves because I was trying to get a sense like where's like the overall sense, right? Mm-hmm. Are people just hitting it all the time because it's not Heat? And he's like, I actually like Den of Thieves. He's like, I just kind of like, if I don't want to commit to Heat, I can just watch, or like to like the emotional journey that you have to go on with Heat. It's like a Heat light.
Okay, sure.
Right? So like it's still, they're still long, but you can skip around.
And it's true. Heat is it takes a toll, right?
Not only do you have to be so committed to making sure you remember each beat.
Yeah.
Right. Not only each beat, the characters and what's happening. Like the beef that grows between Pacino.
But it's so good.
I'm not saying it's
no, I know. It's so good, and the payoff is so worth it.
Yes. But I will say though, there's the one there. No, we'll save it. I'll save it.
Save it for the episode.
I'll save it for the episode of Heat. No, at the end of the day, I'm just really glad you like this movie because overall, like at the end of the day, it's a. If you're like unsure, you want to have some kind of action, you want to have a little bit of a pleasant surprise, throw this movie on.
Yeah.
If you've never watched it, and if you have, like skip the middle half and do the first part and do the last part.
There is, I feel obviously there's a very strong fan base for this.
Yeah.
And I think there are a lot of people that really, really, really like this movie.
And I think for that reason alone, that this will do well, even if they don't have huge budgets for the most of the production. They're gonna build a cult following, and every single time they start to release one, that cult following is going to go and it's getting stronger.
I'm
just like Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm surprised they took 5 years.
Yes. 100% agree.
But I also think it helped it because of streaming, because of Netflix.
Yes.
It gained that cult following.
Yes. Almost. Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
And I think that like I could easily see them, they do this one, they get another one out faster for a third one, build a little bit of momentum, and they hit it hard with like a really great script, maybe on the fourth one. Right? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying to be a great script. I'm just saying like they try to do their best to make a really great film or whatever. Yeah. But if they did that, right? If they come out with the third one relatively quickly, let's say 2 years, you have a little bit of momentum from that. It's built a little bit that builds on that little momentum, maybe, and they try to do something interesting to actually have a better performance, or they switch something up, and they bring in the fourth one to like connect all of them in some passion or some way, or in some a bigger reveal of some kind. Come on, great stuff.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we hope you enjoyed today's episode discussing Den of Thieves. Don't forget to subscribe on whatever platform you get your podcast. And if you like this episode, please leave us a review because it really does help us get discovered.
And more importantly, what did you think of Den of Thieves? Is this your first time? How many times have you seen this? What did we miss? You can connect with us on any of our socials at Reel Chums, or feel free to email us at reelchums.com.
You can find me on Instagram at rubio.tv.
And you can find me on Instagram as well at Marstrosity, MarcTrosity.
Join us next week as we discuss Edgar Wright's Baby Driver.
Voted by our listeners. This is what you want. We're finally going to do it. We've been talking about it. We love Edgar Wright.
Yes.
You know what? I think with this, we're going to do another. I've been wanting to watch Hot Fuzz for so long and discuss it.
Love Hot Fuzz.
So maybe we might just do like an Edgar Wright
month. Or just
little yeah,
love.
I'm
down. I'm down to do Hot Fuzz right after Baby Driver.
Well, let us know, listeners. Should we do Hot Fuzz after this?
We'll see you in the next one.
Later.